Today, we're going to talk about a feeling that, let's be honest, has become an epidemic in our world. That crushing, overwhelming weight of just too much. And more importantly, we're going to look for a way to finally set that burden down. Let me just ask you that, straight up. Does it ever feel like if you stop moving, just for a second, everything you're desperately holding together is going to come crashing down? If that hits home for you, just know you are not the only one. This one's for you. Okay, so let's first dig into what this weight actually is. What is this thing we're all carrying, and why does it feel so impossibly heavy? And that's not just some poetic phrase, is it? It's a real physical pressure. It's more than a packed schedule. It's that quiet, constant voice telling you that your worth is tied to how much you can do. No wonder we all feel like we can't catch our breath. You know, our bodies and minds are smart. They try to tell us when we're hitting our limit. And these sounds right here, these are the flashing warning lights on the dashboard of your life. Pulling away from people, doom scrolling for hours, not enjoying the things you used to love, these are all clear signals that you've been trying to do it all by yourself for way too long. And hey, if you think this is just some modern 21st century problem, think again. This cry for help, it comes from Moses. Yeah. That Moses, one of the greatest leaders in all of history. He was responsible for millions of people, and even he got to a place where he said, I can't do this anymore. This shows us that burnout is as old as humanity itself. And that brings us to a really crucial point. Even the strongest people have a breaking point. So let's use this story of Moses as a kind of parable for what so many of us are going through right now. So check this out. Moses is working sunup to sundown, trying to be the hero, right? The one guy who solves every single problem. But his father-in-law, Jethro, shows up, and he sees what's really happening. Moses is about to completely burn out. And Jethro doesn't beat around the bush. He tells him straight up, what you're doing is not good. His big insight was that Moses' way of doing things wasn't just hurting himself, it was actually hurting the very people he was trying to help. This story gives us something really practical, something we can call the Jethro principle. It's a powerful idea for anyone who feels like they're totally alone in their struggles. And here's the bottom line. We are fundamentally wired for community. This whole idea that we have to be completely self-reliant, it's a trap. It cuts us off from the very people who can help us. The principle is that there are people in your life right now who can be a Jethro for you. They can give you a new perspective and help you carry that load. And this isn't just a nice, friendly suggestion. The Bible actually frames this as a command. We are supposed to let people in. So when you push help away because you think, oh, I don't want to be a burden, you might actually be robbing someone of the chance to fulfill this very command and show you love. That's a totally fair question, isn't it? I mean, friends and community are absolutely essential. But sometimes the weight feels deeper than that. Sometimes it feels like no amount of good advice can fix it. So what do you do then? Well, that brings us to the real heart of the matter. It's an invitation to a different kind of help, a completely different kind of rest. Let's break this down. Jethro's help was amazing, it was practical, life-saving advice. But it couldn't fix the reason Moses was striving so hard in the first place. On the other hand, what we're talking about here is help that goes deeper. It's not about managing your to-do list, it's about transforming your soul. This is maybe one of the most beautiful invitations ever spoken, and it's aimed directly at those of us who feel worn out and overloaded. And the rest he's offering? It's not a nap. It's not a vacation. It's a deep soul-level peace that comes from knowing you are loved and accepted, not because of what you do, but just because of who you are. He goes on to say, take my yoke upon you. Now, a yoke was a wooden frame that joined two animals, like oxen, together so they could pull a heavy load as a team. So the invitation is to get in the yoke with him, to stop trying to pull the entire crushing weight of your life by yourself, and to let him take the heavy end of the load. Okay, so we've talked about the problem, we've talked about the principles, so what now? Let's make this super practical. What are some first steps you can take, like today? Look, you don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. Just start with one thing. First, maybe just grab a piece of paper and write down everything that's stressing you out, a brain dump, and then consciously hand it over. Second, break the silence. Find one person you trust and just tell them, hey, I'm not doing so great. Third, fiercely protect your time to rest, and I mean real rest, not just scrolling on your phone. And finally, practice the simple, powerful act of saying no to things that drain you. So I just want to leave you with this one last thought to chew on. All that pressure, that loneliness, that fear of failing, it's a crushing weight. But what if the answer isn't to get stronger so you can carry it better? What if the real answer is realizing you were never, ever meant to carry it alone in the first place? Thanks so much for joining me.